to click at the bottom and stop presenting. Elizabeth, please stop presenting your screen. Okay, you're going to want to go to the bottom right. There you go. Okay, so we're actually on right now. We are recording. Welcome, everyone. We are here in Google Classroom 101. So we're going to kind of go over some of the basics, how to create assignments, all of that jazz. There will be some topics that you might want to cover today that we might not be going over. So that might be something that we can provide you with later in terms of like the grading features and rubrics in Classroom. But just to remind you, we are in Meet. This is one of the features that you might consider using with your students in doing your video conferencing. It's pretty simple and it integrates right with your Google platform. So one of the easier things to use. What we're doing right now is oh, Elizabeth, can you please stop presenting your screen? Just go back down to the bottom and unshare. Elizabeth, please stop sharing your screen. Cheryl, please stop sharing your screen as well. We can see your Cheryl. I'm going to ask you to just head on down to the bottom and stop presenting. Okay, Cheryl Hooks. Cheryl. Okay. So there we go. So I'm going to present you my screen right now. Okay. I'm going to do this twofold today. I'm going to show you what it looks like to create from scratch. And I'm also going to work from the domain where I have my classrooms already set up. So what I'm going to do is I'm heading on over to my incognito window. I always like to start off in just, plain old google.com so we can get the whole feel for what it looks like when we're first signing in. So one of the things that the DOE is doing right now is, I think, looking to move us on over to a united domain. So I'm going to sign in with my DOE credentials right over here. So I'm going to click on my waffle and I'm going to head on over to, actually, you know what? I'm going to type in classroom.google.com. I'll go that way. Classroom.google.com. And since this is the very first time that I'm accessing Classroom through this account, this is what I see. So this is probably what most of your teachers have seen and your students the very first time that they went to go access Classroom. So I'm verifying that this is me. I will click continue. Okay, and then this is the landing page. Now, all of us have pretty much created classrooms by now, I think. But when you first start, this is the blank page that you will see. So I'm going to ask whoever is not muted, if you could, just please mute your mic. Just use your mouse to move all the way down to the bottom of the screen, and you'll see that there's a microphone icon that you can check. If there's any, let's see. Oh, let me just mute. Okay, there we go. So this is our landing page. Pretty simply, when you or a student is going to either create or join a class, you click right up here, which is the plus button that will give you those two options. So students would click join class, teachers would click create class. So I'm going to create a class in here right now, and we're going to give it a name. So I'll call it Miss Patanio's Remote Learning. Okay. You can give it a section, a subject, and clearly a room might be my basement because that's where I'm teaching from right now. Just kidding. I'm not going to do that. And I click create. So we give it a second to pop up. Okay. This is our classroom stream. So anytime you enter into your classroom, create a new one, you're always going to wind up on your classroom stream. And I always like to kind of relate the classroom stream to your Facebook stream, right? It's the place that you land when you first go onto Facebook. And it's where information populates and just kind of goes down in date order. So when setting up our classroom, we can change the theme. So right on over here, it says select theme. I can make the modifications that I want to reflect the class that I am giving or just my personality. So click on this and I click select theme. Okay. I see my theme is changed and I am good to go with this. I could also upload a photo.
Jack,
Oh,
can you just hold on one second? I think Elizabeth was
sharing
presenting
her
again,
screen.
so it's
Okay.
stopping your presentation.
Okay. Elizabeth, can you please click on stop presenting your screen? Elizabeth, bottom right, please click on that and stop presenting your screen. There we go. Okay. So we're back on, Brandon. Are we good?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good. All right. So we're back over here on my classroom screen. So this is my brand new classroom I created. You'll notice that I have my name of my class here, and then right underneath it is the class code. Class codes do not change unless you change them. This is what your students can use to get into your classroom. So one of the ways that I know teachers were having their students join their class were providing them this code either through Remind, pushing it out that way, or putting it up on school websites. So if a school had a website and teachers had teacher pages, they were putting up their class code. So Miss Batanio, if you were in my class, I would have this code up on my classroom page so that my students can get into this classroom. It's also important to note that once your students are in here, they're in here for good unless you remove them. So they will not need that code again to come back into the class. Okay. So again, this is our stream, and on our stream is where we can post our announcements. So I'm going to share with the class. Please check this classroom every day for information. Okay. This is just an announcement that's going out. That's pretty much what you're going to use Stream for. You can customize which students this goes to, and you can also add any notes to this announcement as well. Again, if maybe you're doing a message, you might say to your students, oh, I'm going to ask whoever that is, please mute your mic.
I'm doing okay, but I'm on a remote. I'm on a training right now, so I'll call you back later.
Cheryl, I'm going to mute you. I apologize. Okay. So again, please check Classroom every day for information. Check out the morning message attached. Okay. That's what the stream posts are for. So I come on over here, I can click post. Or I could schedule this post to go out. So if I wanted to do my morning messages for the week, I can schedule them right here. Okay. Am I not presenting again? It sounds like somebody else. Nope, I'm good. All right, and I will click post to my students. Okay. Over here on the left, you see that it says upcoming. I haven't assigned any work in this class yet, so I don't have any information right here. But as soon as I start creating assignments in classwork, you'll start seeing due dates pop up here on the left. So we will get to that in a few minutes. But I do want to stick to how we're getting people into the classroom. So we talked about the join code. We talked about the stream. I'm going to head over to this tab right up here called People. Okay. Presently, I am the only teacher in this classroom. If I wanted to add other teachers in, I would click the plus button and I would start typing in others' emails. nyc.gov. There we go. And I can invite Jojo in as a teacher in my classroom. Again, this is very helpful for anybody who has their cluster teachers that they want to come in. Also, I guess you can also add your service providers just to kind of give them a look into what the students are doing, definitely like your ENL push-ins. And then we come on down here to invite students. So the first way we talked about was adding students with the join code, so they could just put in the join code, or you could add them in this way. So I could start populating in a student's email address and invite them in here. All right, but the thing with that is that they would either check their email address and accept the class and come in that way. If email is not on, that is not a big deal. What they would do is over here, when you're on the landing page, the classroom landing page, whoever you invite, this class will pop up in this square, and there will be a blue option right here that says join class. I believe it's join class. And you just click on it and you will be brought into it. So they don't need the actual email. It's just a twofold piece where you can either get it in the email or you can come right over here and click join class right from here. The other thing to note that when I am here in my classroom landing page, this is where students will go to put in the class code. So that class code we looked at before, they would have that, they would click on the plus button, and they would click join class, pop that in right here, and be able to go into your classroom. Now, it's important to remember that the students need to be in the domain that the class was created under. So I know some people are using the schools.nyc.gov, so the students would have to be on that domain. For those of you who are using your school domains, again, if the classroom is created under that one, then your students would have to be entering within that one. Okay. All right. So this right here was the class that we just made. I'm going to head back into it. And now I'm going to go over to actually, I'm going to bring you over to the settings wheel because this is something that we don't want to forget. So in your classroom, you want to click on the settings wheel to make any modifications to the details of the class. So right now I have it set as Ms. Vitanio's remote learning. I could change that if I need to, maybe put 2019, 2020 in there to be very specific. I head on down to, this is where you would change the class code if you had to change the class code, but you're probably not going to. This right over here is where you can reset it, okay? This is where you would change the ability to have those conversations on the classroom stream. So right now, it's defaulted to students that can post and comment, which means that they could pop onto that stream that I was on before, and they could post whatever they want in addition to commenting on whatever is there. You could make those changes by toggling back and forth between these. So you can change it to students can only comment, which would be you as a teacher creating a post for them, and then they could write underneath it. Or if you're disabling it fully and having it only teachers can post and comment, that's entirely up to you. Okay. So I'm actually going to do students can only comment for right now. And then again, you'll see there are different options that you can put on or shut off. Okay. All right. So this is this has to be on for your domain, I believe, for it to work. The Guardian summary. Okay. Once you're good to go, you click on save. So I'm just going to ask if anybody is not on mute right now, just please put your microphone on mute. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. So now let's go on over to classwork. To keep ourselves nice and organized, it's good to start with creating topics within your classwork area. So the way to do that is we click on create. Create is where you're going to do everything. So you click create, you do assignments, quiz assignments, material, questions, could reuse, and then here's your topics. So topics keep everything nice and orderly. Okay, so kind of think about how you want your class to be structured. You can change these at any time, but I'm going to do it this way. So I'm going to make a topic called video conferencing. If I can spell, that would be great. So I'm going to do video conferencing. I'm going to create a topic called resources and web links. I'm also going to create one more that is called reflections. Okay, and you'll notice that these are sort of like headers, and that on the left-hand side, as I created them, you have the topics start to populate over here, right? These can be moved around, so it's quite simple. You can just drag and drop. So if I want video conferencing to live up top, and then I want resources and links to live right under it, I would just pull them up and down. Same thing goes for when you start creating assignments. You'll be able to just pull them into various topics in and out if you need to. So these topics can also be renamed if you're not happy with them. So I'm going to go to resources and links. If I click on the 3 dots over here on the left, that's the right, sorry, I can click rename and just change this. I can also copy this link and share it out to share it out on the stream or share it out in an email. For whatever reason, I would need to copy that link. Okay, so now it's good, like I said, to have this skeleton because it helps keep everything very neat and orderly. It could also help if you do have cluster teachers in here. They could have their subject area as a topic as well for the time being. What you're not going to get the feel for it. I'll show you in my other classroom that has more information on it. But what students can do and what you can do to have this not become so overbearing, because once you start adding assignments in here, it will become a lot. You can come over here to the left where all topics are, and you can click on the topic heading, and it will have all the assignments that are slotted under video conferencing. Or if I wanted to go to the one for reflections, I would click on that one. And all the assignments that I've created for reflections will live under here. So it's not as overbearing by looking at all topics all together and kind of being in one spot on here. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to head over to my other domain. And I'm going to show you a classroom that we have been working on called Online Learning 2019-2020. Okay. Before I get into it, I'm going to head back over to my classroom dashboard right over here. There is another feature I wanted to show you. So I'm going to head on over to the pancake stack to the left. Okay. And these are all of my classes. I'm a hoarder. I have lots of classes. I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and I'm going to click on settings. So your settings wheel is down here. And this will enable you to turn your email notifications on or off. So all my notifications are on. If I want to shut them off, I can just toggle this off. I could also get a little bit more granular by toggling on or off these options as well. So it depends on what you need to have on and what you can afford to have off. It'll look different, I think, for everyone. Okay, so I'm going to go back into my classes. Okay, so we're going to work from this one called Online Learning 2019-2020. You'll notice that within here, it says due date today, due date Wednesday. These are some of the assignments that I already created that have due dates attached to them. So what I'll do is I'll head back into here. Okay. And again, same thing that you just saw. You have upcoming information, upcoming assignments due over here on the left. If I want to view them all as the teacher, I click View All. And what comes up are my assignments to review. Clearly, I've been a slacker and I haven't reviewed a whole bunch of them. We have our works in progress down below. So for accountability on myself, I can pop into here and check in on these assignments that I created. And then I come on over to review and I have no reviewed work. All right. So go back over to my classroom stream. Now we're going to head on over to classwork and start creating some of our assignments. So like I mentioned to you before, here's our topics. If I want to view them one by one, I click on resource link. These are all the assignments created in resource links. These are all the assignments created in the response journals. I'll head back over to all topics. Okay, I'm going to click create. And for right now, we'll start off creating an assignment. Okay. First things first, we're going to give it a title. So we are going to call this Reflection Journal Day 1. Please be sure to open the document to the right and fill out your reflection for today's remote learning. Don't forget to click submit or turn in. And you are completed. You could be as detailed or not in here as you want. So I gave the information to my students, and now I can add or I can create what the assignment will be for them. So what I'll do is I'm just going to add. And what this does is brings up my drive. I could drop in a link. I could pull in a file from my computer, or I could pull in a video from YouTube. I find this very useful because we've been discussing some of the best ways to be able to share videos with students. So if you're creating videos and just throwing them onto a YouTube channel, you could just throw those links, grab that link right from here. Okay, so I'm going to head on up to Google Drive. This classroom is speaking directly to my drive right now. Anything that I've created in there, I can now pull in to this assignment. So it'll always default to recent. I could also go on over to my drive, which is extremely full of folders and a lot of random stuff. So I'm going to head on over to recent, and I'm going to see if the document that I want is accessible right now. Okay. If not, what I'll do is right here, I can just start typing in what I'm looking for. So let's see, reflection journal, daily reflection journal template. Perfect. Okay. So that was the doc I was looking for. I could add more if I needed. It doesn't just have to be one, but for this assignment, I'm just going to add this one doc to it. It defaults to students can view the file, which means that all of my students will get this and they will all be able to view the file at once. The next one is students can edit the file. That means all of my students will be getting this file and then they could all edit this file. I don't think we'll be using that feature too much, but that would be if you had them maybe annotating on a document together or kind of putting in, working on an interactive agenda. That might be the only time you would use that right now. What we'll be using mostly probably is going to be this make a copy for each student. So that is your digital handouts that will be going to your students. Okay. So I'm happy with this. I'm going to come on over here to who it's for. So I'm in the online learning class. I know that because it's checked off. What I can do is if I have more than one class, let's say, again, I'm a cluster teacher. I want this to go out to more than just my online learning class. I will check off these classes. So now this assignment will be pushed out to everyone else. So I don't have to waste time going into each and every one of these classes and recreating the assignment. The other option that I can do, so I'm going to leave it just checked off for the online learning only. I can decide which students are going to get this particular assignment. It might be your grouping for the day, could be your remedial work, whatever it is. This is one way that you can start differentiating online for your students. You can say that this is only going out to, let's say, Aziz and Brandon. So I can check the other two people off, which is actually my other dummy account, and Jill will not get this assignment. It defaults again to 100 points. You can change that to whatever your point system is, or you can check it as ungraded. That's entirely up to you. We come on down here to where it says due date. This is going to be very important because I guess for accountability purposes, you would say, if you want students to be turning things in at a certain time, you're going to have to make sure that you have the due date set. So if I click on this, I will make it March 27th. And the time will be, let's do 3:00 p.m. Okay. All right. So now this assignment is due on March 27th at 3:00 p.m. Keeping in mind, we want to keep ourselves organized. I have my topic set up, so we're going to make sure that we pull this into a topic. So we'll do it in response journal. We're not going to touch on this today, the rubric, but you are able to create rubrics that are attached to your assignments and grade them that way. So once I've completely filled this out and I'm happy with it, I come up over here to where it says assign. I could click assign and have it go out right away, or I can click on the little arrow pointing down, the little caret, and same thing as before, I could schedule this to go out. So if I created all of my reflection journal assignments, I could schedule them to go out on Friday at 3:00. Okay. Or I can just save it as a draft. But what I'll do is I'm just going to assign it to my students. Okay. All right, and now we'll go down to where it says response journal. Here it is. And this is the one that I just did. What it does is it goes in date order. So this is the ones that you create most recently will appear on top. If you want to reorder anything on here, you can just drag and drop. Pretty easy. A lot of dragging and dropping. I could even drag and drop this into a different topic if I wanted to, but we'll leave it in here. Okay. Again, in sticking with this reflection journal day 1, I could, if I needed to make any modifications to it, I could simply come in here and click edit, or if it needs to be taken away, I would just click on delete and get rid of the assignment altogether. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm actually going to just delete this one right here. I'm going to delete the assignment. Okay, so I'm going to ask if anyone is not on mute, if you could just do me a favor and mute your mic. Thank you. The next thing that we're going to create on here is material. So I'm going to click on create, and you'll notice that the icon next to assignment looks like a checklist, clipboard. Material is down here. It looks like a bookmark. I like to be very strategic in how I create my assignments and my material because material are usually like outside web links that you want students to visit frequently. They also might be what you use for your Meet. So if you want to create your Meet links, you might want to label them as material. So that's actually something that we can go on over and do right now. So I will click material, okay? And I'm going to create the material that's going to be for our Google Meet. Google Meet video conferencing. Okay. Please use this Google Meet link to join our class meetings. So I'm going to open up this out. Okay, so I'm going to leave this here and I'm going to open up another tab. And I'm going to head on over to my app launcher. So you can do this 2 ways. You could always go just type in the address bar meet.google.com, or you can head on over to your waffle and just look for the Meet icon. So I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to look up. Here it is. This is our Meet icon. We'll just click on that. And what you can do is click join or start a meeting. So if you click on this,
join or start a meeting.
I have my screen reader on. You can give it a name. So this will be Patanio's Meetings. And we click continue. Okay. What we can do is we can grab this link up here and we can just pop this, copy that link, head back over to our classroom, see the material that I was creating. I will click add, just like we did before, but instead of clicking Google Drive, I'm just going to add in a link. There we go. All right, so now this link is living there for my students. Again, we have who it's for and which students. So since this is something I want all my students to go to, I would leave it as all students. If I needed to have a conference with just one of my students, I would uncheck everybody else and send it just to Aziz. Okay. I'm going to click on topic and I'm going to put it under resource link and I will post it. And here it is, posted at 1:43. This is our Google Meet video conferencing. You can see I created one on Friday as well, right over here. Right? Okay. So, next piece of pertinent information. Google Classroom is where you're delivering your materials. So everything that you want students to access, you're creating these assignments and you're pushing it out to them. On the back end is your Drive. So what you're really doing is creating like your templates, you're creating these resources that you want to share out onto Classroom later on. So right over here, you'll see it says Classroom Drive folder. If I click on this, it's going to bring me directly to my Classroom folder within Google Drive. Okay. So I'm going to bring your attention to the breadcrumb trail right up here. See this? This is the name of the class we were just in, Online Learning 2019-2020. I'm going to go back over. That's the classroom name. This is the classroom name in Drive. Okay. This is the general classroom folder. So if I head out, I go back this way, these are all of the classrooms that I have on my account. So I'm actually going to go back out over here as well and just show you. So all of these classes that I have here are all of the classes that have folders in here. Okay. So when you first agreed to allow Classroom into your, once you first signed up for Classroom, this Classroom folder was created for you. So everything that you create, all of your assignments will be living within here. So I'm going to pop into that class that we were just in again. So Online Learning 2019-20. Sorry, I had my screen reader on. I'm going to go into one of my assignments. So I'm going to show you the back end first, and then we'll go back over to Classroom and we'll look at the assignments and how teacher view looks versus the student view. So this is me as the teacher. I'm going to look at one of the assignments that I pushed out to my students, which was grade 7, my media usage. So if I click on that assignment I pushed out, you'll see I have Aziz's work, Brandon's work, and Jill's work. I can go in and see what Brandon did. Okay, so at this point, since I'm the teacher, I am the only one who could see all of their work. Brandon, for example, would only see his. So he wouldn't see Aziz and Jill in that folder. He would just see what it is that he created. Okay. From here, if students wanted to be able to ask for peer feedback, they would be able to share their documents up here as they would share a regular doc. Okay. I'm going to get out of this. And I'm going to head back over to the Classroom and show you what that assignment looks like on this end. So I go on over to classwork, and that, go in, that was it's under ELA assignments. So grade 7, my media usage. Just to note, I pulled in that resource from Common Sense Education. So all of their lessons, all their units are Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Forms. So you're able to go onto Common Sense and pull in their resources and just utilize them freely on your Google Apps domain. It's actually super simple, and I would highly recommend it. So this is the assignment that we're looking at. If I tap on it once, okay, this is the condensed version of what the assignment looks like. I'll click View Assignment. This is what a teacher will see. So this is their perspective, not a student perspective. Okay. So me as the teacher, as my students are doing their work, I have the flexibility to pop in and out and see what it is that they're doing in real time. So when I pushed this out, I was able to go into Brandon's work, and I was able to comment along with him. So you'll notice that this looks like Google Docs, but this is the classroom backend version of the assignments that we're giving out. So this is what Brandon sees, right? And I was able to give Brandon a grade right on here. And I was also able to have a private conversation with him, private commenting over here as well on his work to assist him as he was filling out the graphic organizer. Okay. I gave him a grade, and then I clicked return. Okay. And we see over here, these are the grades that they have. They actually, I didn't have them turn it in. I just graded it without, I graded it without having them turn it in. Okay. And then over here are the instructions. So this is more along the lines of what they would wind up seeing. So this is where you would wind up having your class commenting. So if you noticed that when you were over here in student work and you were popping in and out of student their documents, you notice that everybody was having an issue with coming up with more ideas. You could come over here to instructions and you could add a class comment to all of them. So they would see this information and be able to go in and make changes on their work instead of you going in individually into every student's document on the assignment. You could just do one general class comment here. Whereas on this piece, you were doing, these were private comments. So if I click on a student, I can see their private comments that I added into the document that they have. Okay, so I'm going to get out of here and I'm going to head back out to my classwork again. And I'm going to go into, I believe it was this one. Okay, so then the response journal for remote learning, this was, this is what it looks like when it's turned in. So I click view assignment. What happens is, again, you have your students who this was assigned to. Jill turned it in and Aziz is missing. So I get the notification that he has not done his work. It alerts me. So I can conference with him or reach out to him and ask him why he hasn't been, why he missed this one assignment. Okay. But again, this is where you'll see when things are turned in. The numbers will decrease here and they will increase over here. All right. Let's see, some other things to note about where, oh, like I said, we're not going to talk about grading. So just, I'll tell you quickly, this is your gradebook area, but this is not integrated with STARS or anything official. So you may want to use this, you may not want to use this, but I'll just, you know, this is just where your grades will live when you're grading your assignments. Okay, so I'm going to stop right now. I'm going to see if there are any specific questions that I can address. Brandon or whoever is on, are there any questions that you notice popping up in the chat that I can get to right now?
Yeah, so you have several from Rosina. There's, going back to the beginning, she was asking about a digital tool that's used as a pen. So I had mentioned in the chat that you might get into extensions later to talk about, you know, Kami or one of those others. So I guess that's coming up. Let me see what else there is here. She also asked if students can add attachments.
So yes, students can. When you're in classwork, students will see this as well. So in assignments, see where it says create. Students can add, can actually create a doc, a slide, a sheet onto an assignment and attach it onto that when they submit it to you.
I have some that I think were not answered earlier. Someone asked, what's the difference between an assignment and a quiz assignment?
So a quiz assignment is it will actually create a form for you within here. So if I create quiz assignment, you'll see that it creates a blank Google form for me. So instead of me creating a form, let's say in my Drive on my own, it automatically creates a form for me right here that is attached to this assignment. And it also has the quiz capability. So normally when we create Google Forms, it's just a regular form. We have to go into the settings and make it a quiz. This right here, this already has the quiz features enabled on it.
Thank you. There was also another question about Google Meet and assigning specific times. Can you talk a little bit about how you can use a static link and arrange times with the classroom?
So when you're using Meet, let me head on over here real quick. You are not you're not assigning a time to the actual Meet when you're doing this. You're just kind of creating this link to be able to share out to your students and kind of telling them so when I copy this link, you're telling them on Classroom that maybe, this is in an assignment, this is the time that we're going to meet. So we're not assigning times in the actual Meet, but we're assigning the time in Classroom by creating an activity link. The other way you can set up specific times would be through doing Google Calendar events. So that's how we do it in our office with the adults. We go on over to Calendar. I'll demonstrate that super quick. This might not be something that you would do with your students unless they were older. But what we do is we create these calendar events and see where it says all day. I unchecked it and I set it for a specific time. So let's say 8:45 tonight, not that it would be that late. This would be our Google Meet. I have the time, and then right over here where it says add conferencing, I would click Hangouts Meet. So now this Hangouts Meet is attached to this event that I'm going to add people to. So this is one way to kind of keep it neat and orderly. And I'll click Save, and I will send the invite out to Brandon. This will live here on my calendar. If I tap it once, I will see the information card. I can come over here and just click Copy, and I can copy this information to put an email or, again, to send out on my Google Classroom. But this is really the only way to sort of like schedule official Hangouts with anyone, meets with anyone.
Jackie, someone else is presenting right now.
Okay.
Oh, no, you're back.
I do want to show you all something. So our team has been dropping in the Google demo, the agenda. Does everyone see this agenda? I think you received it from Brandon or whoever put it in the chat. This right here, this has information that is going to be extremely useful for you. So where it says first days of classroom resources, we're like jump starting all over again, like the first day of school. This has information for you, step-by-step videos on how Classroom works, all the nuances. So I'm going to suggest that you continuously revisit this as well. This will be able to help you pretty much through anything and everything. Not that we don't want to help you. We 100% do. We're here for you. But at your own pace, you can head on over here. And again, that is on the agenda that we put into the chat. There's also on here the Classroom Help. So this is the Classroom Help community where you can pretty much put in any issue that you have, okay? And questions will pop up. And all your help answers can probably get answered right here if they're not already being answered in our Microsoft Teams that have been set up for us. So 2 really good resources for you to latch onto and use at your own pace. Okay. So I'm going to head back over. Any other questions, Amory, Brandon?
There seem to be questions further around Kami. Can you do a little demo, like where to get Kami? Think you get a free account or not?
So, okay. I'm not really going to get into it because I only have about 5 minutes left. But Kami is, let me head on over to it. Hold on one second. Kami is an extension that you can, I know that we have it put on for some of our schools, actually most of our schools in District 31. I'll look into getting more information on having it turned on for everyone. I know that they have been really great about, giving information, giving free things out for this whole situation. But let me open up Kami real quick. So for those of you who don't know what this is it's kind of like digital annotating. You're able to, it integrates right into Google Classroom. So you're able to have PDFs where students are able to work together in one space with annotating on documents. So this is what the platform looks like. You can open up from Drive. You can create a classroom assignment from here. But I'm going to, let's see, open up one of the ones that I've done so you can just get a quick feel for it. I don't want to get too deep into the weeds with this, but this is an example of what we did. We were able to upload a PDF of the Three Little Pigs, and students were able to highlight on here. They're able to voice record commenting, add video commenting on here. It does text to speech. There's a whole host of information that can be done on here. But again, I'm not really going to go any further into it, and because this is just Classroom 101. And if we want to look more into it at another time, we definitely could. Anything else, Brandon? Classroom related?
Extensions.
Okay. So hold on one second. I'm going to
Unblocking them
draw you
specifically,
to,
Jack.
so unblocking them. I know that we, for anybody who is in the Spock community, if you go onto SharePoint, there are the unblocking extensions. I believe if you go on over to the Spock team, and you're able to get the unblocking packages that you can use on your computer to be able to add Chrome extensions onto device that you're on. I thought that you were able to just sign in with the admin credentials onto DOE computers and do it that way. If not, then I'll get you the other information that you'll need to download those Chrome extensions. Any other questions?
Can you go into a little more detail? Some people are asking, like, what's a Spock team? Like, just a little bit more basic.
Sure. Hang on. So for Spock teams, so whoever is a Spock at your school has access to the team in Microsoft Teams, and that's where they get their information from. There are other teams within Microsoft right now that can also provide you with information that you need. I can drop that into the chat. If you give me a couple of minutes, I'll do that after we sign off for this session. But I do encourage you that you sign up for the other webinars that are happening either today and throughout the rest of the week, the ones that revolve around Microsoft Teams, because a lot of work will be done in there as well. It's good to kind of be versed in a little bit of this and a little bit of that as we kind of go on this journey together. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. All right, and do we have any other questions pertaining to, can we just drop in the agenda link again so that everybody can sign in and sign out? It's very important that you sign out today because I believe that you're able to get your CTLE credits for this. So just be sure that when you head on over to the chat, you click on the link that Brandon just dropped in. Make sure you sign in and that you've signed out. And oh, somebody is presenting their screen. Okay. All right, guys. So we're going to end here. I appreciate you all. Thanks for stopping by, and you know, anything you need, we're here to help you.
Jackie, can you
Yes.
hear me?
Oh, yep.
Cheryl, yes, I don't know where to find that sign in. I mean, I signed in, I've been in since earlier, it's 1 o'clock. It said a link to sign out. I don't.
Oh, it's in the same. So if you head back over to the link that, yep, where Brandon dropped that main link, it was the agenda link.
I don't see
There's
it.
this. Brandon, can you just drop that in one more time for me?
Okay, I see it over here with Brandon. I click on it.
Mm-hmm. There
Okay.
should be scroll down.
It just disappeared again. Brandon, I got you.
Hold on 1 second. We'll drop it right back in.
Okay, click on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then what it says, what?
You should, if you scroll down on the agenda, it says, oh, somebody got rid of the sign out. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody got rid of it. So I will let you know when that comes back on, but you guys have access to this agenda. So keep that open. All right.
Send a message. Okay. So
Keep that open.
I don't understand.
The sign out is at the bottom, all the
Uh-huh.
way. It's where it says resources for remote professional learning.
Okay, let me
Okay.
try. I'm going to the bottom now. Let me see. I see where it says send a message to everyone. I see that.
Hold on. I got it. I'll show you right now. I'll screen share on my computer. Hold on 1
Okay.
second. Okay. So for those of you who are looking for the sign out, it was at the top earlier today and it is not now. So just scroll down to where it says, everyone here? You can see my screen, right?
I see
Right
your
here.
screen.
Yep. Right here. Sign out.
Okay, but I don't see it. I don't see it on my screen.
So
I
if you're
just-
on,
I
If
don't
you're
see
on-
it either. I'm sorry.
okay, so I'm going to actually stop the recording right now. Give me 1 minute and then we'll just go back over it.